Utopia. Failed utopias are easy targets for tabloids, cynics, and pragmatists alike. Corbusier's Radiant City, Ebenezer Howard's Garden City, the Luddite Amish Village, the benign agrarian dictatorship of Bhutan, and Jonestown. Utopias seem more dysfunctional than functional, more flawed than awe. Is it no surprise that we've stopped believing in them? Hindsight is 20/20 vision. I told you so. The future critiquing the past. But if we've abandoned the utopian project, if so few of us believe in it, then where do we find hope? The failure of utopia, it could have been the trigger for a lack of nerve, but instead of retreating into conservatism, a moderation of our desires and ingenuity, we ask the question, does dystopia offer a viable alternative? Dystopian visions offer us compelling imagery, from Ballard to Blade Runner, from Brazil to brutalism. The terrifyingly beautiful, the sublime is always more potent than the picturesque. Dystopia is often a utopia, except for one fatal flaw, that undermines the whole scenario. That one flaw is a reality check to our most idealistic dreams, a perfect world where people live blissfully, until being exterminated at the age of 30, a perfect world that's been totally fabricated for primetime TV, a perfect world populated by perfectly compliant and blemish-free women that happen to be robots, a perfect world where thought is controlled by a central agency. Design is always a projection into the future, always by its nature positive, always with a utopian impulse. From the building that will bring joy to its employees, to the seat that can cushion one's ass in style. What if we subject that design impulse to one wrong thing, one misfortune, one unintended consequence? What do we learn from a design gone wrong? Wrongness in this sense is not the opposite of right. A dysfunction can take on many colors. An object might not just cease to function, it may indeed spurn mutant functions and applications. Piracy offers radical redistribution of product according to new codes of etiquette, licensing, and responsibility. Hacking takes existing systems and subjects them to reprogramming, to novel alternative and usually subversive ends. Cheating subverts the rules of a given regulatory system to the advantage of those with ingenuity, technique, and sheer audacity. Rules end up being rewritten as a result of the power of the cheat. The dystopian world is a compelling setting for literature, not only for its social critique, but because it offers a potential setting for conflict, adventure, and room for the hero, or the one who is even more ingenious than the dystopia itself, who understands that even the most perfect dystopia is not without its flaws, and that those flaws are there to be exploited. She is the one who beats the system at its own game. He is the surprise survivor, the cockroach in the post-nuclear scenario, strange adapters in a twisted ecosystem whose strengths are now exacerbated by new environmental conditions. And so, welcome to the world of urban design. Sanitized visions of new urban districts, public space evacuated of all danger or real spectacle. This is the kind of humdrum regeneration offered to us through the planning and urban design machines. Urbanity is a psychopath sedated on drugs and re-educated to tell the right anecdotes at the right dinner parties. All the while, outside of the radar of the regeneration industries, is the blood, guts, sweat, tears, people smuggling, spontaneous celebrations, streetcar drag racing, squirrel bashing, basement perversions, road vivisectionists, and black tie swinger parties, that constitute a big part of the real living city. Super Studios' polemic warnings of hyper-capitalistic cities, the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, flooded visions of London. We want to imagine the possibilities of considering urban practice in all its complexities, not only to acknowledge unknowability, but to operationalize it. What form might that take, and why might it spell a truly new urbanism? Is there something of the dystopian that is as useful to the designer as the utopian? Is it at the level of critique or warning? How far can we push the perverse, the sickly potent, the strangely fantastic, and how might that be something that a client, a local authority, a research organization, a citizenry might actually buy into? Dystopia. Thank you for listening.